bar hums like a tired engine. Neon strips bleed red along the black stone walls, buzzing above the counter. I run a damp cloth over it in slow, practiced sweeps, chasing rings of liquor and ash. The wood gleams back at me, dark and reflective, catching a slice of my face and the inverted cross glowing behind the bottles. Last Call soundtrack. Low guitars, a lazy drum loop, glasses clinking somewhere in the back. The air smells like smoke, whiskey, leather, and that faint metallic edge of supernatural essence that never quite leaves Heathen's corner. A few regulars linger in the booths, fangs tucked away, claws sheathed, glamours loose but still on. They know better than to stretch the night too far. The bar has a way of pushing back. Near the door, someone doesn't get the hint. A werewolf, young, stupid, too much cheap spirit in his system, slams an empty glass down and laughs too loud at nothing. The sound cuts through the room like a broken bottle. I glance up. Kane is already moving. He eases away from the doorframe, straightening from his usual half-bored lean. Tall, black-clad, skull ink framing his face in clean, brutal lines. His eyes look dark from here, almost black. The faint ember halo only there if you know to look for it. He doesn't raise his voice. He never needs to. "Time's up," he says, tone flat. "Let's go." The wolf scoffs, shoulders rolling like he might test it. For a heartbeat, the air tightens. Then Kane steps closer. Not much, just enough to shift the weight of the room around him. Demon presence unfurls like smoke, quiet, heavy, inexorable. The skull ink along his cheekbones seems to align sharper with the hollows of his face, like his skin is considering whether to stay. The werewolf's bravado shrivels. Yeah, he mutters, half growl. But he's already backing up, letting Kane guide him by a hand at the back of his neck. No scene, no shouting, just a threat wrapped in calm and bone. The door opens. Cold alley air slips in, brushes the back of my neck. The door shuts. The hum of the bar settles again. I toss the cloth into the sink and hop up onto the counter. The wood is cool under my thighs. I sit with one knee bent, boot dangling, skirt riding just enough that the air brushes a strip of bare skin. My hair slides forward over my shoulders, pale curtain in the red glow. None of it is on purpose. It just is. The tip jar waits beside me, fat with crumpled bills. I flip it over, spill the cash, start smoothing it into neat stacks. My fingers smell like lemon cleaner and cigarette smoke. A soft clack of bone on wood. One of the bone folk comes to stand by my knee, patient as a summoned dog. Empty eye sockets tipped up to my face, hand extended like it knows the ritual by heart. "Come here, you," I murmur. I reach under the register, find the black marker by feel. The skeleton's forearm is already a crowded sleeve of ink Sharpie spirals, sigils, stars from nights I couldn't sleep and needed something to draw on that wouldn't complain. New edition, I decide. You earned it, Scorch. The name slips out and settles. Feels right. Scorch holds still while I press the marker to bone and drag it across, adding a looping, thorny vine twining through the old designs. My lines stain the pale surface, matte black in the red light. I feel it when the bone folk reacts. Just the smallest shift, like a prickle under my fingertips. A faint spark in the air where bone meets pen. A flicker of satisfaction, amusement. It hums against my skin, then's gone before I can grab it. Most people say bone folk are empty, constructed shells animated by contracts and necro-sigil bullshit. No thoughts, no feelings, just orders. They also pretend not to know what everyone knows. Bone folk used to be people. Humans killed by something supernatural tragically, violently, wrong. If the victim doesn't rise as something else, the curse does it for them, stitching bone back into motion as a reminder we don't get to outrun the consequences of what we are. A new skeleton showing up in Obscura always means the same thing. Someone died. Someone like us did it. Most people ignore that part. Most people are idiots. Don't listen to them, I tell Scorch under my breath. They're jealous you look better in a bow tie. Across the room, another skeleton stands perfectly posed at a high-top table, wearing the crooked bow tie I tied half-drunk last week. A third near the window sports a striped tie, knotted with all the grace of a hangman's loop. One behind the bar has a small black heart drawn on its cheekbone. My mark. My people. Maybe I keep naming dead things because no one ever really named me right. Scorch's fingers flex once. Tiny scrape of phalange against wood. Gratitude pulses at the edge of my senses. There and gone. I exhale. A quiet laugh. Probably my imagination. Or the tail end of a blood high. Or the insomnia. Whatever. The door mechanism clicks softly. Kane comes back in with the cold. He resumes his place by the entrance, leaning against the volcanic black stone like he grew out of it. Arms folded, one boot braced behind the other. Head tipped just enough that he looks relaxed. He's not. His gaze ticks across the room, windows, shadows, exits. Me. Always. Me. Busy night, I say, not looking up from the skeleton's arm. His agreement is a low rumble. Wolf Pup thought he was 10 feet tall. Still standing? Barely. I cap the marker with a snap. Pat Scorch's arm. You'd have done it better, I tell the bone folk. You don't drool on my floors. If a skeleton could preen, this one would. The last of the night's sounds eat themselves. Someone laughing in the back. The thud of a door as a straggler leaves. The clink of glass as another bone folk returns a tray and goes to its place. Time to close. I slide off the counter, boots hitting the glossy black floor with a dull thud. Grab the cash drawer. Set it on the back counter. Start counting notes, coins, quick flicks of my fingers. The numbers settle into place in my head. Profitable enough to keep the lights on, the suppliers happy, and the bar's wards humming. Around me, the bone folk begin to sleep. They move slowly, deliberately, each finding its designated spot. One at the far corner near the windows, one by the stage, two flanking the bar. When they stop completely. No sway, no fidget, just stillness. To human eyes, they're high-end Halloween decor left up all year. To anyone with sense, they're sentries. Their eye sockets dim to soft embers, not out, never out. Little pinpricks of awareness behind the bone. Their presence presses at the edge of my perception, like quiet static. I shut the drawer, slide it into the safe, spin the dial. Metal clunks into place. Heathen's corner exhales. I straighten, grab the keys, and turn toward the front. Kane is still there, framed by the glass and the faintly distorted alley beyond. He's all sharp lines and ink, jaw shadowed, skull markings settled back into their default pattern. From a distance, he looks lazy. Up close, there's not a single muscle actually relaxed. World survived another night, I say. Barely, he echoes, mouth twitching. I pass him, reach for the switch buried under the bar shelf that controls the front signage. The red skull sigil outside the demon mark over the door that tells the world this place is protected casts its glow through the frosted glass. My fingers find the switch. I flip it. The neon dies with a soft, electric sigh. At the exact same moment, something snaps through my chest. Not pain, not exactly. More like a jolt, sharp, cold, then hot, radiating out from my sternum in a quick, electric shiver. It races through my ribs, into my fingertips, up the back of my neck. For half a breath, I'm sure something under my ribs is trying to wake up, sit up, look, but that's insane. For a second, the room goes too quiet. The air tastes metallic, ozone crisp. I freeze, hand still on the switch. Then it's gone. I blink hard, shake out my fingers. Must be more tired than I thought, I mutter, half to myself. Hunger, maybe. Too many hours on my feet. Not enough blood. Pick a reason. Behind me, I feel it, that tiny shift in the air. That means Kane has straightened off the wall. You felt that? He asks. I glance back at him, force my shoulders loose. Felt what? Lights flicker all the time. Wiring's older than some of our customers. His eyes stay on me a beat too long, studying my face, my hands, my chest, like he can see through bone and skin if he wants to. Ember halo brightens, just a hair. Kane. I arch a brow. Don't start seeing ghosts in the circuitry. That's my job. A low exhale. He lets it drop for now. He unlocks the door, holds it open in that quiet, automatic way of his that never feels like chivalry, only protocol. The bone folks stand their invisible watch behind us, eye sockets glowing soft in the dark. I step out into the alley night, cool air kissing my skin. The bar's door shuts at my back with a heavy click, sealing in the warmth, the smoke, the red. Whatever that pulse was, I file it away with every other thing I don't have the energy to unpack. The thing about last normal nights, they never look like warnings until it's too late. Night settles around me like it's been waiting. The alley exhales cold mist over cracked pavement, carrying Black Point's after-hours mix bass thumping somewhere distant. Wet tires hissing through puddles, a voice raised in an argument that won't matter by morning. Above, the red skull sign over Heathen's corner flickers once, then sinks back into volcanic black stone, like it was never lit at all. I take a steadying breath. The warmth of the bar is already fading from my skin, replaced by the metallic tang of street magic that always lingers after closing. Boot steps fall in behind me. Loose, deliberate. Kane never walks the same way twice. Tonight, he's half alert muscles, refusing to clock out even when he does. I don't turn. I know the difference between his relaxed stride and the one that means he's already cataloging exits. This is the second one. He keeps his usual position, half a step behind, slightly to the left. A habit he's never explained. I stopped asking. Relax, I say, heading toward the street. The world didn't end. We would have noticed. He doesn't answer. His gaze flicks to my chest, not in the fun way, in the what the hell was that way, right where the pressure hit earlier, where something inside me snapped and tried to take the bar with it. I ignore the lingering warmth under my shirt. Ignore the echo of that pulse, like a second heartbeat that won't quiet. My throat aches hollow. My donors are asleep by now, tucked into their mortal routines. No warm vein, no late-night top-up, just the bottle waiting in my fridge. I'm fine, I add. Didn't ask, he mutters. Technically true. Still a lie. We step into Black Point proper. Neon washes the street in violent color acid pinks. Venom greens, electric blues smeared across wet pavement. Bodies move through it like punctuation marks. Witches trailing faint smoke. Vampires draped along fire escapes. Demons idling at the curb with engines rumbling low. Black Point at night is a bad decision, dressed up pretty. I love it anyway. Bone folk linger where the light thins still shapes at alley mouths, by boarded storefronts. Most people pretend not to see them. I've learned to clock them and move on. Kane doesn't. His attention sweeps the street in clean passes, people, exits, magic spikes. A group of unregistered demons catches his stare and suddenly remembers they're late for something. Even out here, Heathen's reputation walks with him. You're quiet, I say. Run out of ominous one-liners? His mouth twitches, almost a smile. Nothing about that was funny. There was a surge, I say lightly. Bars glitch. Magic storms happen. This wasn't a storm. His eyes dip again. It started in you. My skin prickles. I stop myself from pressing a hand to my chest. I had an off night, I say. Maybe I need to feed. The words come out sharper than intended. My gums answer with a throb, fangs pressing, eager. He says nothing. We cross a stretch of rainwater. My boot splashes too close to the edge. I glance down. For a blink, I don't see me. The reflection fractures light and shadow, slicing it apart. Hair whipping in a windless night. Eyes burning too bright. Something taller behind me, wearing my silhouette like a second skin. And above it points. A crown, or a glitch, or nothing at all. My stomach drops. Fear reflex, my fangs punch down before I can stop them. Then the water stills. Just me. Platinum hair, black jacket, neon behaving again. Eve. Kane's voice snaps sharp. Static crawls over my skin, the same shift I felt in the bar. He feels it too. Demons always do. Relax. I try. It comes out thin. He steps closer, hand hovering near my elbow. What did you see? Street water, I say, already moving. Very aesthetic. He doesn't follow immediately. Evening. He uses my full name. He only does that when it matters. I keep walking. He catches up closer now, sleeve brushing mine like he's checking I'm solid. "You're okay," he says. "If I say no, you'll drag me back and chain me to a bar stool. Tempting. So I'm okay." We turn onto my block. 2 teenagers pass us, one witch, one wolf, arguing loudly. He has to play Graveheart. The wolf insists. "It's the law. Faust Skullheart. Tomorrow night." "Yeah. I know. I've had my tickets for months, Frontier. Close enough to feel the amps in my bones." Saturn nearly lost her mind when I told her. One perfect night. That's the plan. My fangs ache at the thought of a packed venue full of heartbeats. I shove it down. "You tensed," Kane says, "like someone just mentioned an ex." "He's not an ex." I pause, realizing what I just admitted. "Shut up." The corner of his mouth ticks before he reins it in. My building squats between a pawn shop and a laundromat, brick-tired and ward stickers peeling from the doorframe. Kane scans the entry before holding the door. Habit, not necessity. Inside, the stairwell smells like dust and bad decisions. We climb in silence. "You should skip the concert," he says on the landing. "And Miss Faust, you're aging poorly." Too many unknowns. After tonight, I don't like you in that crowd. "Neutral ground isn't neutral anymore," I say. "You sound like my anxiety app." "Your anxiety app doesn't mop up after magic events." I stop at my door. "What do you want me to say?" I ask. "That I'm breaking reality?" He studies me. "For a start," he says quietly, "you can tell me if you're scared." It lands too clean. "Scared is bad for business," I say, unlocking the door. "Try again." My apartment waits small, familiar. Faust posters layered along one wall like a shrine I refuse to acknowledge as one. Kane stays in the hall. He only enters if I ask. For a moment, I think about it. He doesn't touch me. Just says, "Text me if anything shifts." Heart. Head. Mirrors. Mirrors, too? Humor me. He leaves. The door clicks shut behind him. Silence folds in. Hex emerges from under the couch, offended. I toe off my boots and head for the fridge. Hunger loud but controlled. Cold light spills over dark glass bottles. I grab one, twist the cap, and drink. Bottoms up. The blood is metallic and familiar, cold, thick, grounding. Not the real thing. Never is. It settles the hum enough to breathe. At the sink, water splashes my face. Behind it, clack, bone on stone. I spin. Empty kitchen. Hex watches me, unimpressed. "Fantastic," I mutter. Phantom bone folk. At my desk, the lamp flares too bright, then snaps back. My shadow lags on the wall. Just a beat, then catches up. I freeze. From somewhere below the floorboards, clack. One joint, one sound. Bone folk don't belong in apartments. The air presses thick. Hex jumps onto the windowsill, staring out like she sees something I don't. I kill the lamp. Darkness rushes in. I change, crawl into bed. Hex curls against my legs. The city noise fades. Too quiet. Then I hear it, not a voice. A hum, threaded through my thoughts. Soft, Wrong. Evening. My name brushes the inside of my skull. I bolt upright. The room is unchanged. Silent. I press a hand over my sternum. The warmth there fades, like a handprint lifting from glass. Black Point has its own way of noticing you. Tonight, it noticed me.